Joe,
Hello.
have you ever done anything bold with your hair? Any bold hair choices in your life?
Yeah, I have actually. In 8th grade, me and my friend got colored mohawks.
Whoa.
For our school. Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
that
For
is
the football
very
team, yeah.
bold. For the football team?
Yeah.
Is it like for a pep rally kind of thing?
Pep rally, yep, exactly. You
Nice.
got it.
Very cool. Wow, Joe. You're so cool. So it doesn't sound like you have any regrets with that bold hair move.
So it was me and a friend, so we both
Oh,
looked
yeah.
kind of stupid.
That's
so,
a nice
yeah,
level of security
yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah. I had a security blanket with me.
Right. Well, I bring it up and I ask because I wanted to talk about a time when an NBA player made a bold hair move and I think ended up regretting it because of an NBA rule, which is, let's see, Section H, number 5, the only article bearing a commercial logo which can be worn by players is their shoes. And while hair and heads are not exactly articles, to me, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, that counted as a non-shoe logo. So, Iman Shumpert, an Adidas athlete, got the Adidas logo shaved in his head.
Okay.
For fun. He likes doing fun hair stuff. This was one of the things he
Adidas
did.
did not tell him to do this.
No, he was like, hey, we're friends, I like your shoes and your clothes, and you like me.
You pay me. So.
Yeah, let's do it. You pay me, that's a strong friendship. And then because of this rule, the NBA was like, you can't do that. So he shaved out the Adidas part and just had a bald triangle in his hair, which we can see here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
straight triangle.
Yeah, this is actually not as bad as I thought it was. Still very bad, but I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I thought it was going to be definitely like the middle of the head, but since it's off to the side, you know,
side back. Yeah, I wonder if like why he didn't just like knock out
the
that
whole
strip.
yeah.
But yeah,
Certainly a choice.
I guess he could be like, well, triangle's still cool.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like triangles? Fun shape, roof.
The pyramids, you know, maybe he's a big ancient Egypt guy.
That's true.
You know,
Or he could
maybe.
become one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
Channeling the
Thanks to
inner
the-
pharaoh energy.
Yeah. Seems a little bit weird, you know, that an NBA would have that sort of agency over your hair, but
Body, yeah.
you get it. There, you know, it's a Nike league. Well, it can't advertise Adidas all the time, I
Yeah.
guess. So you would think that this would be like enough of an incident that players would be like, oh, that's the rule, let's stop doing that sort of thing. But a lot of players have come up against this rule for things more permanent than hair. What I'm talking about is tattoos.
Okay.
So Lonzo Ball in 2018 had the Big Baller brand tattoo.
The BBB.
Yep. And the league was like, you have to cover that up or do something. He had it turned into a pair of dice, kind of.
So they're cool with gambling, but
Yeah, right? But not self-promotion.
Or you could be playing any other game, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So we have a picture of that. I mean, it's impressive that they could change the letters into...
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
You
If
change
it
the
was
dice, yeah.
originally like, can I have some dice, and it looked like that, you'd be like, oh, that's nice. You let someone new to the tattoo field draw dice.
Also, couldn't he have just worn a shooting sleeve?
Yeah, I think for a while he would like put a Band-Aid on it and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to like...
Look, I'm not Lonzo,
Yeah.
okay? You know? not my decision. Not my decision.
Yeah. I wonder like what the regret level is to go back under the needle.
So I have a few tattoos, not as many as
You're so
just
cool.
looking
You're so
just
cool.
looking at Lonzo. I feel like this is enough tats where he's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Because I don't really know him as like a gambler or a
Yeah.
board game player. It's like, I don't know, is dice a thing? Yeah. I guess he didn't hear about Iman Shumpert's bald patch.
Or he either did or didn't care.
Oh, yeah. Didn't care. Daring the NBA.
Daring the NBA.
It's more advertising for my brand. They're making this controversy.
Because it's also a thing of like, you know, Adidas is a very well-established brand.
Right.
And maybe he's like, you know, big baller brand. He's up
Get
and
some
coming.
guerrilla
And
marketing here.
we can get away with this one.
Because here I am talking about it.
Right.
Then, let's see, we got another example of this rule being violated. This is J.R. Smith's leg here.
I remember this one.
Yeah,
I do remember this one, yeah.
doesn't have an affiliation with them. He
Yeah,
just
yeah,
likes
no.
it, which is wild to me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I don't really like to wear like clothes with a lot of brand
right.
showing.
Let alone get a full tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it is literally in the exact Supreme logo. But I wonder if he was just like, no, it's just like my homies call me Supreme. You know, I'm just a Supreme hooper.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Try to get away with it. But no, that is
Because
100%
it's
the Supreme.
yeah, it's like how they...
Yeah, the Supreme logo for sure.
And it's interesting you bring up that he could argue his way out of it because, first of all, J.R. Smith was like super pissed that the league made him cover it up. He was like, this only happens to me. I'm the bad boy. Here it is. And he kind of had a point because, like, remember Carmelo Anthony has like WB? And nobody ever had a problem with that.
Like the it's like the
Warner Brothers. He said it was for West Baltimore. So he's like, looks exactly like it, but it's
it also looks
else.
Exactly like the WB logo.
I think Lonzo's brother, oh man, I forgot which one.
LaMelo, right?
Yeah, LaMelo.
Yeah, because he's got his own brand.
Yeah, he has his own brand tattooed on this like soft part.
Yeah, because I remember, when you said the Band-Aid thing, that actually, when we were talking about Lonzo, that reminded me of LaMelo, because I remember he would have just like a weirdly placed Band-Aid like right here on the back of his
covering
ear.
up. He had LF. I guess it's like a streetwear lifestyle brand. I don't really know what that means. Clothes?
Yeah. For
his middle name is La France. And
wait, his name, I'm sorry, this is
it's
probably
tricky.
derailing me, but his name is LaMelo LaFrance.
LaMelo LaFrance Ball. Yes.
That is a name where you're destined to do something.
You're not going to be an accountant.
Yeah, you're not
going to have a boring job.
Yeah, no, you have to do something with that name.
Yeah.
That is a career made for entertaining. I feel like
it's an entertainer's name. You can't be a teacher. Do something that's going to go by your last name with a first name, like first middle combo like that. Yeah. People call you Mr. Ball all the time. No, teaching is out. At first, I think it's interesting that he put a logo on himself after his own brother had to cover up his.
That's also a very LaMelo move, though. I feel like,
that's true.
These youth.
Yeah, my God. So young. So when he first got it, the NBA was like, that is an obvious violation of the rule. But then, like, later they're like, it's fine. He doesn't have to cover it up anymore.
So J.R. Smith is just a bad guy, huh?
Yeah. He could argue, like, it's also my middle name, right?
Yeah.
So it's my own initials. Just happen to have my clothes brand. Okay, in post, fix that if streetwear doesn't mean clothes.
It does. You're good.
Okay. Cool.
So do you know if Adidas paid Iman Shumpert? Because I know you said he was an Adidas athlete.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess he's technically getting paid, but they were like, hey, for more exposure.
Right. No, maybe? This was his own. He was like, I like you guys. I like you guys a lot. I'm gonna do a little extra.
I guess that's like a husband getting his wife's name tattooed or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, you know? It's
And
like, I love you for life.
Like,
baby. He's like, Adidas for life. You know what I mean? But I guess it's just hair, so it's not as serious. But
not as serious.
It's like the first commitment. You know, he's like, you guys like the hair, maybe tattoo could be next, maybe.
Don't drop me.
Don't drop me.
You could argue that it's weird that they have control over players' bodies and hair. But it's also like a protection in place to keep brands from being like, tattoo this on you and we'll give you money, which is weird.
Okay, so maybe this is a weird rabbit hole to go down. So Iman Shumpert was a Adidas athlete, right? But the league was upset because they're a Nike brand.
They wouldn't go so far as to say that.
Okay.
But that's a conclusion many people drew.
Because I was going to say, what if someone else just got a Nike
that's
thing
actually
tattooed in their hair?
Reminds me
or
of...
etched in their hair. Would that be a problem too as well? Would that be?
I think not. Because, you know Marcin Gortat?
Yeah.
He has a Jumpman tattoo.
Okay.
And
like the Jordan Jumpman?
Yeah. And nobody has ever made him cover it up. So he was a Reebok athlete. He's not affiliated with Nike.
Yeah.
And Reebok asked him to cover it up. And he said no. He literally was like, some people don't know my name, but they know me as the guy with the Jumpman.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
So I can't cover it up.
I can't cover it up. They can see the back of my jersey all the time. They just know me as the Jumpman tattoo guy.
But yeah, that people bring that one up. I think J.R. Smith was like one of the ones he brought up of being like, I'm being singled out.
What about the guy with the Jumpman tattoo?
Yeah,
he doesn't know his name either.
It's a bit corporate inspired there, huh? I guess the big lesson is if you're going to put a corporate logo on yourself, I don't want to call people a sellout who like doing that. If they like doing it, they like doing it. But it seems like embrace the sellout caveat and go with a Nike one.
Right.
And then you don't have to put a Band-Aid over it or get it redrawn into awkward dice.
And, until the NBA changes rights holders.
That's true. That would be tricky. That would be tricky. Is there any brand you like that much? If you had to get a brand tattooed?
OnlyFans?
I have so many people to thank. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Thank you to our non-Patreon subscribers who watch this video. I couldn't have done it without any of you. Seriously, thank you for watching this video. And why not watch some more videos and have fun in all of your future pursuits. For Secret Base, I'm Clara Morris. Good night and good game.